This right here is my 2024 Toyota Supra, GR86. And today, I'm gonna tell you everything over the past year about this car, everything I didn't like, everything I've loved, how much it's costed me, to better help you if you're maybe looking for one, give you a better idea if maybe it's the right decision or not. And before I get into it, make sure you guys subscribe, because I was recently looking at the analytics and this is unacceptable. That's crazy. In this channel, I'll be telling you all the things about this GR86, going over any mods that I do and all the reviews. So if you have or you're thinking about getting a GR86, just hit that sub button. So a year ago today, I bought this at my dealership. I actually work at a dealership. I'm a salesperson, and this came in on trade when I wasn't even looking for one. I was actually in the market trying to find a Boost Blue Type R, the FK8 specifically. And there was none really local to me, so it was just kind of like a wait until it came to me thing. Well, next thing I knew, this came when I wasn't even looking, and I saw the color of it and I was like, God, I gotta have it. And after a year, I'm still so glad that I made that decision, because this car has been a blast. And it is a 6-speed manual, which I think is absolutely mandatory in this car. It makes the car fully complete because you're just so connected to the car compared to an automatic where it's not as of a connected feeling, and I feel like you don't really bring out the full car's potential. So we'll start off with the basics because I already covered this in another video, but the cost of this car, I pay around $570 a month for the payment, and then on insurance it's like $150. If you want to see a more in-depth breakdown, I'll put a video in the top right corner for you where I fully break down the detailed expenses of this car. So over the past year, living in Ohio, one thing that stood out to me that I don't like, but also I do like, is the fact that it's rear-wheel drive. I obviously love it for the summertime. It's way more fun, but because of the fact that I live in Ohio and we get really bipolar weather, sometimes the winters are really bad, sometimes they're not that bad. I can't take this car out unless I have winter tires, so it's just kind of a hassle having to go out and get winter tires and putting them on and then taking them off for the summer. Another thing that I am really shocked by with this car, even in the 2026, they don't offer wireless CarPlay. I really don't care that much because I can charge my phone anyway, but it's just kind of a crazy thing. And the whole infotainment system in of itself is kind of outdated, which once again, it really, me personally, does not bother me because of the fact that that's not why I bought this car. I bought it because I like to drive. And this car does that exceptionally well. There is one thing about the driving on this car that's drove me insane. And it's been a year and it still drives me insane. I've gotten it a lot better, but that is shifting from first to second in this car is god awful. And I know it's not just me because I've made a lot of videos on this and everyone agrees. I don't know what it is. It's like no matter how slow or fast or in between that you take off the clutch, you just get a little jolt, and then your passengers' heads, you see them going crazy, and it makes you feel like a horrible driver. The bypass to that is apparently you just got to get it up to about 4,000 RPMs and just let it off. That seems to work for me. It's been a lot smoother, so I've kind of gotten over that, but it does drive me crazy because it still happens here and there, and there's no worse feeling than having a bad shift. Another thing that I love about this car, though, is just the looks of it. Literally, no matter where I am, when I park this car and I leave it for a little bit and I have to come back out to it, it is quite literally my pride and joy. Like, it excites me to see it in the parking lot every single time, because I still remember whenever I was a little kid, if I would have seen this car back in the day, I would have thought it was the coolest thing ever. So now being able to drive this car and own this car and get the same reactions from other people, it's so awesome. And another thing about the styling of this car, to anyone that's not like super into cars, they all think you drive a Supra. And I have a lot of people try to argue about this topic and say no one thinks that's a Supra. I promise you, yes they do. I've had countless people ask me if this is a Supra. So it's like it's the $30,000 Supra. Going back into the negatives here, another bad thing about this car are these little blind spots. You can't really see out of this car. Luckily, you have blind spot monitors on the mirrors. Thank God, because I probably would have crashed this thing by now if they weren't there. And once again, there's a way to get over that. You can get aftermarket mirrors that are much wider angles, which I definitely should probably do because that is a big problem on this car. The blind spots are pretty bad, but not as bad as a Camaro. Another thing that I love about this car is the fact that it is a naturally aspirated boxer engine. A lot of people hate that. I think it's a good thing because there's so many cars now just throwing turbos on all these engines, but I love that this one isn't. It's like a blueprint or a blank canvas for your own thoughts. Like, you can make this car into anything you want. If you want it to be the most powerful car, you can build it. You can build it for aesthetics. You can make it a drift car. That's what's so awesome about this car. It can literally be whatever you want it to be. Something that's not so good about this car is the amount of space you get. I feel like that's another reason that you would not buy this car, because you kind of know that ahead of time. But the back seats aren't usable, but I'm glad they're there because it helps on the insurance. But also the trunk is not that spacious. But just for some like basic Walmart groceries, it gets the job done. But if you go to Costco, you're gonna run into some problems. Something I do love about this car is the sound. Because of that boxer engine, it gets such a unique 4-cylinder sound that once you pair it with the correct exhaust, because unfortunately from factory, it doesn't get one, it can sound super, super cool. And yeah, after a year, the honeymoon phase is still not over because I still brag about this car, love this car way too much, and I still do not regret my purchase whatsoever. So if this kind of is your guide for buying a GR86, I would say it's 100% worth it. It's been an absolute blast going around all those crazy turns in this car is awesome every day. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped you out, make sure you leave a like. I'll see you in the next one.